right, well, shall we go ahead and get started?
Let's go ahead and get started.
All right, well, we may have a few more people join us, but we'll go ahead and get this kicked off and going. So welcome, everybody. This is the very first YK Connect and Protect Lunch and Learn web series for January 2025. Today, we're going to be talking about New Year, New Tech, and the connected home. So obviously, if you're here, you're probably familiar with who YK is and what we do, but just in case you're not, we are a rural broadband service provider and just about everything technology in the way of internet, voice, security, and a lot of other options for our local homes and businesses here in Ganado, Louise, Markham, El Campo, Danabang, and the surrounding area. We wanted to start this Lunch and Learn web series to have a way to reach out to our customers, engage with you guys, and have an opportunity to just talk a little bit about tech, things that we do, things that we're passionate about, give you guys the chance to visit with us and ask questions and share just a little bit of what we know about all the technology here that we offer here at YK. So obviously, my name is Russell Kotcher here at YK Communications, and I am joined with Elizabeth Gurnt, sales specialist here at YK. Liz, remind me, how long have you been here now?
Almost just about 6 months shy of 16 years.
16. Okay, so yeah, I hit 16 years in January as well, so we're about on the same time track. So Liz and I have been here for a while, and we love to be out in the community and meet with everybody. So we'll go get started with what we've got for today's agenda. So today we're going to talk about understanding your new tech. Christmas is a time that folks get a lot of new devices and just want to make sure that you understand all that new technology that you're bringing into your home. We're going to talk a little bit about bandwidth basics and consideration. What is bandwidth? Why do I need to pay attention to my bandwidth? And then we're going to talk about how to connect those devices and manage all those devices through our app CommandIQ. Then we'll give time to let you guys answer any questions that you might have. And then don't drop out early because we've got a promotional offering that we've got at the end. And because this is a lunch and learn, every one of these webinars, we're going to be giving away lunch on us. We've got gift cards from local restaurants so that when you guys are finished up here with us, you can, we've got a place for you to go grab lunch on us. So you ready to get started, Liz?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So understanding technology. So, you know, we talked about at Christmas, people get a lot of gifts and there's a lot of things that are under the tree and you don't think about what those devices are going to do to your bandwidth, to your internet connection, your local network, whenever you unwrap those gifts. Plug them in, charge them up, pop the batteries in them. And so that's kind of the main thing that we want to talk about today. So first thing that I am going to do is, before we start talking about all those gifts, is launch a quick poll. And you guys are gonna, if you'll just answer, how many new devices did Santa bring to your house this year? So I'll give you just a minute to respond to that and let us know how many high-tech gifts were under the tree this year for you.
Phones, tablets, Alexa, all the good things.
All the things. If it connects to the internet, count them in there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close out the poll so that we can keep going here, share those results. And it looks like on average, we got about 1 to 5 new devices this year under the tree. So some of the common devices that folks get as far as, you know, what Santa brings, like Liz was talking about, we've got smartphones, tablets, smart home devices, things like the Amazon Echoes, Google Nest Hubs, smart light bulbs, smart locks, all those kind of things. Laptops, still tried and true for students, work from home, all that kind of stuff. Smart watches, those are still really popular gifts. Gaming consoles, PlayStations, Xboxes, Nintendo Switches are kind of the top ones in the gaming console world. Wireless earbuds and headphones, AirPods and other devices like that. And then streaming devices. A lot of the smart TVs just have the All of it just built right into it. But for those that don't, there's still options like Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, or Chromecast that are good options for streaming devices. I also put drones down here. I know drones were really popular a couple of years ago. I don't know how much folks are still giving drones, but I know that that was popular a couple of years ago. I think the one that I gave my dad back in 2023 is still in the box and has never been used. So don't know if I would add that to the gift list, but it's an option. VR headsets are getting to be really popular. Apple had their first offering for a VR headset this last year, the Oculus devices. So that's really popular with those that are heavy into the gaming and kind of want that immersive experience to put that headset on and feel like they're in a part of the game. One of the ones that I saw, Liz, this year, and I don't know that I want to admit this or not, but I saw a lot of the smart bird feeders, the bird
Wow.
houses where the birds jump on, and it's actually using AI and it's tracking which birds are showing up, and you can pick your favorite birds. I don't know that I'm at the age that I want to get into extreme bird watching yet, but I did see that it was one of the top smart devices this year. So kind of a cool technology there for maybe some of our older folks or those that are really into bird watching. So, so what tech did you get this year, Liz? Anything under your tree to
So yeah, so this year I got another Amazon Echo.
nice?
Those are all over my house. I also got a smart alarm clock this year. So it's a light comes on in the morning on it. It is a sound machine. It does all the things. So that was neat. And then
Cool.
this year, I actually even had my Christmas tree connected to the Wi-Fi. So it came on automatically at 5 o'clock and shut off at night, and best thing ever. So there's a lot out there now that you can do that couldn't do in the past,
There
even
is.
with your Christmas decorations.
I got a little extreme with it because the Christmas lights outside, when the security lights on the house came on, you know, it kind of got in the way of the Christmas lights. So I actually got in there enough to set that the security lights outside came on at about 25% until the Christmas lights shut off at 11, and then the security lights went to 100% after that. So I had everything on timers over there.
Yes, my
Um,
whole house is the lights are coming on automatically, the thermostat's turning down automatically, all the things, and I definitely wouldn't change it.
Right. So we just had a chat come in, Liz. My mom got one of the bird feeders this year. Sister and I have access to it. It's cool, even for the elder millennials, but it requires Wi-Fi in the
Okay.
backyard. And that's a really good
Awesome.
point. And it's going to be a topic that we're going to hit, I think, probably in April. We're talking about some tech projects for spring and summer and talk about how to expand Wi-Fi out into the backyard. But yeah, Amy, if you got one of those devices and you're having a hard time getting it to connect in the backyard, give us a call. We've got solutions to help you extend that Wi-Fi a little bit further. So for myself, it was actually a little bit of a low tech year this year. You know, there were some Beats headphones under the tree for the kids, but more so that I trying to give a lot more experiences more than stuff and things. So there wasn't as much tech under the tree this year as probably as much as the kids would have liked. But yeah, it was a little low tech around the house this year. So, Liz, I'm going to pass it over to you. So, why don't you
Okay.
talk a little bit about what impact all those devices have on those home networks?
Sure. So, every device that you add to your network increases your bandwidth usage. And bandwidth is basically the interstate for your internet service at home. So, each new device that you connect to the internet will consume bandwidth. Think of bandwidth as a 4 lane highway, 5 lane highway, and every car on that highway is in 1 lane, and that's each of your devices traveling down the road at a certain pace. So, the higher the bandwidth, the faster you're going to be able to go. So, and with bandwidth usage, downloading apps, streaming, video calls, gaming, all of that is using bandwidth. So sometimes when we get more devices connected to our network, you can have some congestion. So if your bandwidth is only, say, 50 megabits per second, and we're streaming, gaming, working from home, and doing multiple things, we may need to increase that bandwidth in order to accommodate for all of those devices. If you don't have a good bandwidth, then it can result in delays, buffering, especially if you have multiple users online. Um, Another thing that new devices can cause to happen on your home network is the more devices that are connected, the more potential interference you may get. So it comes into play when multiple devices like smart home gadgets, extra routers, anything is in close proximity to each other. They basically kind of fight with each other. So using wireless access points that support a higher number of devices simultaneously is going to be the right way to go, which the good thing is with YK, we offer a secured router as well as our whole home Wi-Fi to keep you covered and support all your devices. So we basically do the hard part and you just use your internet. Um, Speaking of equipment, so some of the older routers out there don't support new tech. So you get the newest iPhone out there, you have an older router, you may see issues come about, and it's not necessarily your internet. It's just that that device and that router, they're not talking to each other properly. So with YK, we keep you up to date on the most current equipment. All of the equipment that we have deployed out in the field is going to be current, it's going to be secured, and it's going to be the best performance for your network. The other thing that can happen with extra devices, say you get some cameras, you get, Amazon Alexa all over the house, there may be additional security concerns. So it's always important to maintain a secure network to keep any type of malicious software, viruses, threats from coming in. And with YK, with your CommandIQ app, we offer an additional feature called Protect IQ that does all of that for you. It's one of those set it and forget it mentalities. So you get Protect IQ, you get it turned on, and it blocks those threats without you having to even lift a finger. You get the
It's
alerts on your phone.
It's funny you say that, Liz, that it really is a set it and forget it, because I do get notifications every once in a while that a threat was blocked on this device, and it's like, oh yeah, that is running in the background. So, when you get those alerts, it's one of those things that reminds you it's working back there in the background.
Yes. And it's also one of those things that it's $5 a month to have that service. It protects your entire network at a network level. So, yes, you still need to have your antivirus on your computers and things like that because you might take them out of your home. But this service is an extra layer of protection that is going to cover you. So, like for instance, me, before I had it at my home, I didn't know that, anything was going on. But now that I have that service set up and I've had it for probably a good year now. I get those alerts. It's a very secure feeling to know that those are being blocked and not coming in on your devices. You're not at risk. If a certain ad pops up when I'm on Facebook on my iPhone, it may block that site because it's not legitimate. So it's $5 a month definitely is a very good price to pay for that feature and just having it be secure and not having to worry about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that security is often something that people don't think about when they're adding all those devices and, especially setting up those new accounts and all that for everything that comes with it. So,
And also,
well,
if you have kiddos at home too, they may not realize what they're clicking on and doing. And, it's just going to help you out in the long run.
absolutely. So, we talked a little bit about bandwidth and bandwidth considerations. And so, Liz, you hit a little bit on what bandwidth is. And when you talked about kind of lanes on a highway, that's definitely one of the analogies that I use quite a bit. But, the technical definition for bandwidth is going to be the maximum amount of data that can be transmitted over an internet connection for any amount of time. And so we typically talk about that in megabits per second or gigabits per second. But yeah, the two analogies that I always use is kind of the highway. if you get on a highway and you want to go a certain speed, that's fine. But you get somebody, you start adding multiple users on there, and you've only got one lane. It's kind of that whole concept of you want to get as many lanes as possible and open up that speed limit as quick as you can get there. You put more people on there on a smaller road, it's going to take longer for everybody to get to from A to B. The other analogy I use a lot is kind of a plumbing or a water hose type thing. It's like if you've got a certain amount of water that you've got to push through a water hose in a certain amount of time, obviously you're going to want the biggest pipe that you've got to get all of that through there. So like I said, bandwidth really gets into play when it's how many devices you're using and how many people are using those devices all at the same time. So I know one of the things, Liz, that we get questions on a whole lot is just like, well, how much bandwidth do I need? How much speed do I need? I mean, at YK, we offer everything from a 50 meg all the way up to a gig. And I know sometimes it gets confusing, like, well, is 50 meg more or less than 1 gig? So why don't you tell us a little bit about, like, when you're working with customers, how you help them decide how much bandwidth they actually need at home?
Sure, of course. So, your bandwidth, one thing about YK is our data limits do not exist on our internet service. You can use it as much as you want to. There is no limit to the number of, devices and things you can connect, but your bandwidth basically is your speed. So the more devices you add, you're going to need more speed. So you have to think about the number of users that you have in the home. You may have a couple kids at home, you may have somebody that's working from home, you may have some gamers that are on video games regularly. And in today's world, almost everyone streams their TV, whether it be Netflix, Hulu, any of those things. Disney Plus came out and it's, increased the streaming world drastically also. So it just really depends on how many users you have and what all you do. So whenever I talk to customers, that's a big part of what we discuss is how do you use your internet at home? There's also a lot of things that use internet that you don't think use internet whenever you're just, it's working, it works in the background. It's not something you really think about, but you have thermostats, you have security systems, you have cameras. We have partnered with Arlo, and I have Arlo cameras now at my home. So you need that upload speed to be able to view those cameras quickly whenever I need to check out what's going on at my house. So web browsing, it typically takes 1 to 5 megabits per second um, of bandwidth. So that's just your very basic, pulling up a website, online shopping. Whereas video streaming is going to use a lot more. So if you're streaming TV on 4 TVs versus 1 TV, that's a lot of difference in bandwidth. You're going to, possibly have that lagging and buffering if you don't have a good speed at home. So, for instance, HD video streaming that uses 5 to 10 megabits per second, whereas 4K may use 25 megabits per second.
Yeah, so
So
you
that's
think
something
about that. If
that's,
you've got
yeah,
somebody who said, "Hey, just give me the basic plan," and you've only got 50 meg, if two people in the home are streaming 4K at the same time on two different TVs, you've totally maxed out everything.
right, yeah. And nowadays, a lot of the TVs that you buy at the store, they're going to be 4K. They're going to be that Ultra HD. So they're automatically going to be set up for that. And a lot of the streaming platforms are designed for it. Disney Plus, you can watch certain movies in 4K. So it's as times change, bandwidth does change too. So we do have customers that may start out on a 50 megabit per second plan, but in a couple of years now, 100 megabits per second is more geared to them because they've made changes and included more tech in their home. And also, so another big thing is you have to think for the future. So technology is always changing no matter what. So, what you do have now may not be the case in 2 years. We see it all the time. Everybody is using more technology. There is no difference for age group or anything. Everyone is using more technology. I mean, we stay in touch with my grandma through FaceTime and she's streaming TV at home now. She's over 80 years old and she is using just as much bandwidth as, I might use at my house. So,
Well, good for her because I wouldn't even try
yeah.
it with my 80 something year old grandmother. So, but yeah, with that future proofing, I mean, that's a good thing to think about that you're always kind of planning ahead. And a lot of people don't think about, we run into it a lot at the holidays. Like if you're having a big gathering, for me, it's a lot of teenage girls with sleepovers that all show up with their devices and they're all, doing videos at the same time and that sort of thing. So it's kind of future proofing for everything that's coming, with the next birthday, the next Christmas, but also just whenever you've got those big gatherings at the house. And I think the really good thing, for our customers, we're always looking out for, anybody that may be bumping up against that threshold if they're getting close to maxing out their bandwidth. Because, we want everybody to have a great experience. And so, we're really good about, if somebody is bumping up against that bandwidth and, we're seeing that on a regular basis, just reaching out and saying, hey, just letting you know that you are bumping up against that threshold. If you want to upgrade, we have higher speeds available, just to make sure that everybody's having a really good experience with gaming, streaming, and all of that kind of stuff.
Right. We are very open and honest about these are the options that are out there. Because I know at my house, for instance, if I was having a struggle with that, it would probably set me over the edge because I have like 26 devices. So we definitely want our customers to have the best
I
experience.
was going to ask you if you've ever counted how many devices you've had total.
Well, I never physically counted them, but after I got CommandIQ, that's kind of what has told me I have 26.
I'm
So,
I'm scared to admit, I think the last time I checked, it was somewhere in the 40s. It's a lot. So
right.
So speaking of CommandIQ, that's a really good segue into our next slide. So managing all those devices, you're adding all that, how do you keep up with it? Like we were just talking about, we don't even realize how many devices that we've got connected. So we've got a really great app out there called CommandIQ, and if you're a subscriber at YK, there's a pretty darn good chance that you've got CommandIQ set up. I think we're at like 98% or 99% of all of our customers have it set up and are using it. But if you're not that familiar with it, CommandIQ is a really powerful tool that just kind of gives you complete control over your home network. And I think a lot of people forget about some of the features of it. I'm going to run down real quick, Liz, and talk about kind of some of the most important features. And we're going to do a deeper dive into a lot of these features in future webinars. So be sure to come back and check it out whenever we go really talk about some of these on a deeper level. But just at a real high overview of what CommandIQ does, like we talked about, a network overview, just a quick glance of all the devices connected, what bandwidth you're currently running, just to look at everything that's kind of going on at a 10,000 foot view for your network. Guest network management. To me, that's a huge thing when it comes to security. We talk to everybody all the time for, keep your network for your family, for your office. But whenever you've got customers coming into your office or you've got, friends, family, or that sort of thing coming in, set up those guest networks and keep them off of your main network for a security standpoint. So that's really popular. We use that a lot at my house. Device prioritization. So that's one where you can give one device priority over another. Let's say, for instance, you're working from home and you want to make sure that your Zoom calls, your Teams calls are going through and your laptop has got priority over the bandwidth. And you've got kids that are gaming on the Xbox or streaming on multiple devices. You can give priority to your laptop so that if there's any issue with running out of that bandwidth, you get to say who gets it first. Parental controls, that's a big one. There's a lot of things there that you can talk about what time certain devices have access to the internet. You can completely shut those devices down. You can set different content restrictions in there to make sure that your kids aren't viewing things that they shouldn't be viewing. And I think it's our August session, Liz, that when we talk about going back to school, I think both August and May, when kids go back to school and when they're out for summer, we're going to talk about BARC and parental controls a whole lot more. So if that's something that's important to you, definitely come back in May and August to see those. Security settings, just like Liz was talking about there, we've got Protect IQ running in the background, but also just kind of hand in hand between security settings and notifications. You get notifications every time a new device connects. So maybe, all of a sudden a device connects and you get that notification. It's like, hey, I don't know who that was or what that device is. You can go check it out as soon as those notifications come through. Network speed tests. So this is when you do a speed test through CommandIQ, it's giving you a true bandwidth speed test for your network. A lot of the third-party websites that you go to, they may take other things into consideration, and you may not get a true test of what speed is coming into your network. So if you want to do speed tests, we always recommend open up that CommandIQ app and run it from the app. It's the quickest and easiest way and the most accurate way. And then just network customizations. If you want to change your SSID, your passwords, how all that's set up, you can do that there. And then last one of the things that I like is remote access. So, if the kids are off for summer and they tell me that the internet's down, from the office, I can open CommandIQ and get a really good overview of the network there. I can run my speed tests from if I'm traveling, I can see, how the bandwidth is. So all of that I have access to away from my actual network, which, a lot of times when you need to troubleshoot and look at things, you have to be connected to that wireless network to be able to see that. So that's kind of in a nutshell everything that CommandIQ does. Do you have anything, Liz, that's kind of some of your favorite features of CommandIQ?
Yes, so I would say for sure the being able to manage a guest network is very important. Also, I love being able to do a speed test from the app, being able to see that data. Also, the remote access is big for me because I can hop on there and see, okay, my internet's connected. We lose power here in town pretty often, and I can hop on there and say, oh, my internet's off. It's not connected. I think my power's out. It's just little things like that that you can, do that I couldn't do before without it. So I use it quite a bit. I'll also get on there and just I have my devices named the way I want them to be named. That's another great thing you can do is if there's a device that connects, you can name it. You can group them by what room they're located in. You can do all that. I'm big on organization, so I have mine all set up and neat and tidy. But that's some of my favorite things.
Yeah,
Also, the
you're
alerts.
Yeah, I
The
would say
alerts
you're
are
speaking
big,
my language on keeping everything
right?
organized. It's really cool that I love that in CommandIQ, you can sort everything by people who use, the ones who use those devices. Like you said, by places, if it's all in the living room or if it's all in the game room, that sort of a thing. Because I've had plenty of time with an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old. It's not beyond me to, if a kid starts talking smack, I'm like, I just open up that CommandIQ and I just shut those devices down real quick. That gets everybody's attention.
Right. And with the alerts, another big thing, if we're doing maintenance or anything like that, we push those alerts out through CommandIQ. So YK is always sending you updates and alerts through that app, and you get them. It's no problem. Also, whenever those devices that you're not quite sure what they are do connect, you can take a look and dive deeper into it. Whereas if you didn't have this app, you'd have no clue.
Right. So one of the things that you and I are very similar, we use CommandIQ the same way. But one of the things that I think is really cool is when you talk about those guest networks. I do have networks set up, especially like I said, for those sleepovers when kids are coming over. You don't know what they're bringing over with those devices from a cybersecurity standpoint. So try to keep those isolated there. But when you go into CommandIQ, there's ways that you can share that guest network. You can actually text over that. So even if I'm not at home and let's say a family member comes over to the house, maybe to dog sit or something like that, and they want to connect, I can actually go into CommandIQ and text them a QR code, and then they're able to tap on that QR code and connect without me having to share the password. And along those same lines, I've actually done a screenshot of that QR code and I've printed it out, and we've got like a big bulletin board, chalkboard at the house that artwork and calendars and all that go onto. And I just keep that QR code up there. And that way, when the kids have friends over, they know to run up to that chalkboard and get their device, scan that QR code, and they're connected to the network really quick. So it's kind of a, another layer of safety to be able to share that information without actually giving out those passwords.
Right.
So, well, that's pretty much everything that we wanted to cover today. Just always want to remind folks that if you need help with anything, setting up CommandIQ, how, using some of those features on CommandIQ, want to check your bandwidth, make sure that you're not bumping up against that threshold. You can always reach us, and technical support's available 24/7, 365. If you go to ykc.com/support, you've got the options there to call in. We've got live support chat that you can chat with us and we can get you taken care of. This year, we also added a network status page. So in the event that we do have an outage, maybe a fiber got cut or anything like that, you can click on that check status right there, and we've got a live view of what our network looks like. So if your internet's down and you want to see maybe if it's just you or if we are having an outage, that's a really good place to go check that out. So never hesitate to reach out to us for support. And I will open it up for Q&A. If anybody has any questions in the Zoom app, you should be able to go down and drop a question in there. Liz and I will keep an eye out for that. And while you guys are thinking of those questions and typing those into the chat, Liz, why don't you talk about our promotional offer for the month for anybody who's here live with us today?
Sure. So our promotional offer today is going to be a free month of service for new customers and customers that upgrade their speed bandwidth to the next level. You'll be able to reach out to us and just mention that you were on our January webinar, and we will make sure that you get that discount on your next bill. So reach out to us, let us analyze your account. We are more than happy to review your account and make sure that you are on the best plan at any time.
Cool. All right. And the last thing that we wanted to do, Liz, I don't see any questions or anything coming in yet, but the last thing we wanted, well, second to the last thing, our next event is going to be Spring Break Security with Arlo. So like Liz said earlier, we partnered with Arlo. If you want to get those cameras in place before you leave for spring break, it's a real popular time for everybody to leave, and you want to be able to keep an eye on the house or the office while you're gone. Join us back February 13th, and we're going to talk about all the features of Arlo and everything that you can do with that. So, what do you say we draw for our gift card, Liz?
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, so I've got a $25 gift card for KW Dairy Mart, just right over here, a block away from our office here in Ganado, and one of our customers, one of our partners here in town. And so I've got all the participants loaded in here, and let's spin the wheel, Liz, and let's see who our winner is. And our winner is Potsy F. So Potsy, we're pretty sure we know how to get a hold of you, and we'll get you your gift card, and you're close enough by, you could probably make it there for lunch today. So, all right, well, that's everything we've got.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Potsy. Got your comment, David. Thank you. Appreciate the feedback. And that's all we've got. We'll see you again in February to talk about security in Arlo. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.